There's a lot of buzz in the industry about someone you should know, Damien Gravois. If you haven't heard of him yet, you'll soon see why he's a hot topic in the entertainment world. He recently received the esteemed Parnelli Award for Director of the Year, which recognizes his exceptional vision, courage, and creativity, traits that make you want to revisit a performance to catch all the nuances you may have overlooked. He is the genius behind the pop-out, Kendrick Lamar and Friends, a show that not only entertained, but also transformed the concept of a live concert. If you've enjoyed that electrifying performance of a popular summer hit, you already have a glimpse of the incredible magic he brings to life behind the scenes. Welcome to Celebrity Rap Life, where the red carpets never roll up and the spotlight never fades. The rewards are legendary, because in Celebrity Rap Life, every downfall can become a comeback and every headline tells a deeper story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. Let's paint the picture for you. Imagine you're sitting there watching a performance that's supposed to be just another concert moment, but within seconds, you realize something different is happening. The camera isn't just recording what's on stage, it's moving like it has a heartbeat, like it's part of the music itself, capturing angles that make you feel like you're standing right next to the artist, feeling every word, every beat, every ounce of energy pouring off that stage. That's not luck, that's not accident, that's Damien Gravois doing what he does best, turning a performance into an experience that burns itself into your memory. When Kendrick performed that track everyone couldn't stop talking about, the one that dominated every conversation and every social media feed, it wasn't just the lyrics or the delivery that had people losing their minds. It was how we saw it. Every angle, every zoom, every perfectly timed cut that made you feel the intensity radiating through your screen. That's the difference between watching a show and living inside a moment, and Gravois knows exactly how to blur that line. Now, here's where it gets even crazier. The Parnelli Awards aren't some participation trophy situation. These awards have been recognizing excellence in live event production since the early days of the industry, honoring the people who work behind the curtain to make magic happen in front of thousands, sometimes millions of eyes. We're talking about the technical wizards, the creative masterminds, the people who turn concerts into cultural moments. Director of the Year means you stood out among an entire field of talented professionals who dedicate their lives to this craft. Gravois didn't just win because he directed a popular show. He won because he changed the game, because he showed the entire industry that there's a different level of artistry possible when you combine technical skill with raw creative instinct. Think about what goes into directing a live performance of that magnitude. You're not working with retakes and editing room safety nets like you get in film production. Everything happens in real time. Every decision you make, every camera operator you guide, every shot you call has to land perfectly in the moment, or the magic disappears. There's no second chance when thousands of people are watching live, and millions more will see it within hours online. The pressure alone would crush most people, but Gravois thrives in that space. He doesn't just manage chaos, he conducts it like a symphony, making split-second choices that somehow feel like they were planned for months. That performance everyone keeps replaying wasn't just good energy from the artist, it was surgical precision from a director who understood the assignment on a molecular level. What makes his work on The Pop-Out so revolutionary is how he captured the raw emotion and street energy of the performance while maintaining this almost cinematic quality that elevated everything. The camera work during that particular track felt intimate and massive at the same time. You could see the intensity in close-up shots that made you feel like you were locked in a private moment, and then, suddenly, the perspective would pull back to show the entire crowd feeding off that same energy, creating this feedback loop of hype that just kept building. That's not something you can learn from a textbook. That's instinct. That's understanding the culture, understanding the music, understanding what the audience needs to feel in each moment to stay completely locked in. Gravois didn't just document a performance, he translated it into a visual language that hit just as hard as the audio. The way social media exploded after that show proves the point. Clips from the performance went viral not just because of what was being performed, but because of how it was being shown to us. People were breaking down specific camera angles, specific moments where the direction made them feel something extra. That's when you know a director has done something special, when the audience doesn't even realize they're responding to technical choices, but they can't stop talking about how the whole thing made them feel. Gravois created those moments intentionally, building a visual narrative that matched the intensity and message of the music. Every frame had purpose, every transition built momentum. Nothing was wasted, nothing was random. Now, let's talk about the iconic nature of what he pulled off. In an era where everyone has a camera and everyone thinks they can capture content, Gravois reminded the world that there's a massive difference between pointing a lens at something and actually directing vision. His work became the definitive way people remember that performance. When you think about that moment in music history, you don't just remember what you heard, you remember what you saw. And that visual memory was crafted shot by someone who understood this wasn't just another gig. This was culture being made in real time, and it needed to be preserved with the respect and artistry it deserved. The cameras moved with purpose, caught reactions that told their own stories, framed the artist in ways that amplified the power of every line delivered. This is why his peers voted to give him Director of the Year, because they recognized work that represents the absolute peak of the craft.
But here's what makes this story even more compelling. While everyone was focused on the artist on stage, rightfully so, Gravois was orchestrating an entire operation behind the scenes that most people will never fully understand. He's coordinating multiple camera operators, calling shots on the fly, reading the energy of the performance to know when to go tight, when to go wide, when to catch the crowd, when to stay locked on the artist. He's doing all of this while the performance is unfolding, while the unexpected happens, while the energy shifts and flows. There's no pause button in live direction. You're making choices that will define how millions of people experience this moment, and you're making those choices in fractions of a second. The level of confidence, skill, and creative vision required to excel in that environment is something most people can't even imagine. What Gravois achieved with the pop-out represents a new standard for how live hip-hop performances can be captured and presented. Before this, a lot of concert footage felt generic, almost assembly line in how it approached showing a performance. Standard angles, predictable cuts, nothing that made you feel truly connected to what was happening on that stage. Gravois threw that playbook away and directed with the same intensity and creativity that the music demanded. He treated the cameras like they were part of the performance, not just observers of it. That shift in mindset created something that felt alive, urgent, completely in tune with the cultural moment it was capturing. When people watch that performance years from now, they're going to see it exactly how Gravois intended, and they're going to feel the same electricity that people felt watching it live. The Parnelli Awards sitting with his name on it now isn't just recognition for one show, even though that show was absolutely historic. It's recognition for a body of work, for an approach to live direction that pushes boundaries and refuses to settle for good enough when greatness is possible. It's the industry saying, we see what you did, we understand the level of difficulty, and we acknowledge that you're operating at a different tier. In a field full of talented people, Gravois separated himself by bringing that raw street sensibility together with technical mastery, creating something that resonated far beyond just the people who appreciate production technique. He made work that everyone could feel, that cut through all the noise and grabbed people by the chest. The impact of his direction on the pop-out is still being felt across the industry. Other directors are studying what he did, trying to understand how he captured that energy so perfectly. Production companies are looking at that show as the new benchmark for what live hip-hop coverage should aspire to be. Artists are probably calling asking if Gravois is available to direct their shows because they want their performances to hit with that same intensity. This is what happens when someone does something so well that it shifts the entire conversation about what's possible. Gravois didn't just win an award, he set a new standard, and now everyone else is trying to catch up to the level he's already reached. And here's the real talk that needs to be said. In an industry that doesn't always give flowers to the people behind the scenes, this recognition matters deeply. The artists get the spotlight, rightfully so, but the people who help create the magic often work in shadows. Damien Gravois getting Director of the Year puts a spotlight on the importance of vision beyond just what's happening on stage. It reminds everyone that great performances need great directors to translate that energy into something that can be shared, preserved, and celebrated. His work on that iconic performance will live forever, not just because of who performed it, but because of how he chose to show it to the world. That's legacy. That's impact. That's the kind of career-defining work that changes how people see not just one show, but how they think about live performance direction as a whole. Damien Gravois earned every bit of that Parnelli Award, and if his work on the Pop-Out is any indication of what he's capable of, this is just the beginning of a story that's going to keep getting bigger. This story is far from over, and the truth is still unfolding. I want to hear what you think. Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next.